Welcome, everybody. This is the fifth and the final round of the Hot Rocket Porsche series. My name is Victor Cax. I'm going to be your voice, guiding you through these final two races here today as we bring this Hot Rocket Porsche series to a close. So, today we've got our qualifying that's going to be happening in just a moment, 15 minutes worth of it, for them to set their final pole lap. Then later on, we'll be having our first race at 9:20. It's going to be a 20-minute long affair before we get to a reverse grid where only the top half of the grid will get reversed, and we race another 25 minutes. The aggregate of all the points, not just on today's round, but also the past 4 rounds, will be all tabulated together, and we will find out who will be the champion overall after 5 weeks of racing. That's certainly something you want to find out. Though I got to say, it's definitely a huge favorite coming into this one here, no less because of Luca Martino and his stellar pole record that he had so far. I mean, he's snapped up all of the pole positions. He's in fact already acquired the pole position award, which was the Revolot R8, as a result of winning pole position in last week's race, rather the last round's race. And today we're going to see whether or not he'll be able to make it 100%. That is, making the pole position on every single race so far, and it's been an impressive performance, got to say. I mean, if you're talking about like 5 completely different tracks, started with Zandvoort Grand Prix the first round, then we went to Road America for the second round, and then Watkins Glen for the third, and finally on Bahrain, that's where he confirmed his pole position victory. There was no other pole position for him to snatch except for this one. His closest rival so far has been Nur Shalizan, and he's been giving him quite the run for his money, although Shalizan has not been able to take as many wins as he would have liked. In fact, he's only taken one single race win, which was at race 1 at Watkins Glen, round 3. Nevertheless, he's been very, very consistent in getting second place. In fact, he's already taken 5 second place finishes, of course, always behind Luca Martino, rather frustratingly, but at least has been able to keep himself up to par when it comes to the points. That's 145 points to Luca Martino's 172. Then, third, and definitely the best of the rest so far, Cito Wire has been able to keep himself in the top 3 with 102 points. Now, mathematically speaking, not likely he's going to be able to challenge Luca Martino in this particular race, say for things going absolutely horrible for the Italian. But nevertheless, he is only about 45 points behind Nur Shalizan. So say that if he does end up missing out the first and second race here for Shalizan, Cito Wire could potentially come back extremely hard. But then he needs to consistently be on pole for both of those races, and with the performance and the consistency we've seen from Shalizan so far, I think it'd be pretty much an act of God if things were to go wrong for him here today. Now, let's go ahead and let you guys be acquainted right now with the track that we're going to be coming on to here, which is going to be the Sepang International Circuit. Yeah, this is going to be the final round. Having plenty of thrills and spills on this track, and certainly a track that the Malaysian drivers, Shalizan being one of them, Zulkan 9 will be definitely quite familiar with. But nevertheless, with the pace and consistency we're seeing from Luca Martino, from Cito Wire, from Ayman Haziq as well, I think we're going to be seeing a supreme challenge for the end very soon. Now, we're going to be getting to our qualifying paces as we bump onto the track right now. Let's see who is out for their runs here. So far, purple sectors, Sector 1 going to Cito Wire with a 34.219, and Sector 2's fastest time has been set by Luca Martino. He also just come across the line to set a time of 2:19. Now, this is going to be wet conditions here, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see from the spray coming off from Luca Martino's car. Earlier in the dry practice, I think I saw some times of up to 2:05. but given that this is going to be wet, I'm expecting a lot more time will be added per lap here, as the drivers will be contending with the elements here in order to set their fastest time. But so far, Luca Mattino's Sector 3 purple has just been taken away by Cedar Wire, who not only had the Sector 1 purple, but also just snatched away the Sector 3 purple. Now that's a gap of 0.132, so I think Luca Martino can certainly try to fight back if he's still out on track and already has just set another purple sector, this time for the first sector itself. Let's see whether he'll be able to keep it on, or is he going to be able to improve on his on the rest of the track here. But Noshalizan also not too bad in his qualifying performance here. Actually has a way higher maximum speed coming out to the speed trap compared to Luca Martino here. So with a 219.733, that's half a second behind Luca Martino. So certainly a lot of difference in makeup here in his next flying lap. Shalik Zuka 9 has also just come across the line, but it's only been able to set a best of 222. Perhaps not exactly firing on all cylinders on that lap in particular, just getting used to the conditions first, but he's already been out for 3 laps now. So let's hope he'll be able to put together a nice little run here to kind of cap off his stint so far. Oh, Luca Martino has gone off into the gravel trap and decided to teleport back into the pit, so looks like there's not going to be any improvements on his current fastest time of 219.261, so that means it's certainly going to be up for grabs for everybody else, particularly Noshalizan, currently on an out lap right now. We'll see whether or not he'll be able to challenge Luca Martino for that Sector 1, but that's certainly going to cost Luca Martino a bit of time right now with 8 minutes still remaining in this qualifying session. That's probably going to be good for the 2 stints more. So let's see whether or not he'll be able to just keep himself on the road this time around in this next run. But Shalizan seems to be pretty confident out in the water so far. These final corner here not really providing too much of a challenge, although he does slide a little bit on the exit there. Probably going to cost him a bit of acceleration out into the back straight now. But nevertheless, what is his time so far? He's going to be coming around to the final turn soon now. And that's going to be to start his flying lap here. I apologize, I thought he was already here to go ahead and set a time, but looks like he needs to get this last turn absolutely perfect now so that he can get the maximum speed by the time he gets end of the straight. So that goes Shalizan's first sector now on your screens here. In the meantime, let's see if anyone else is also putting a charge right now. Luca Martino is also out in the out lap. He's currently in Sector 2. Ayman Zeke should be coming around Sector 3 right now. So he'll be starting his Sector 1 very soon too. Shalizan, for his part right now, has already gotten past the first couple of turns. Doesn't seem to be too much of a trouble for him, though knowing the wet conditions out of the track is definitely trying to stay within the limits of his grip right now. The traction, whatever traction this GT3 Cup car is going to be able to provide him so far. But seems to be navigating some of the tough parts real nicely. Now we're going to be coming up to a really tough part here. These two very fast, this very fast S section. First turn gone pretty well, although he does take a little bit of a wide line and much tighter line through the second one. Although seems like he decided to scratch that lap, so that's not going to be another flying run, unfortunately. Here, see the wire coming around the final turn here. He's also on the out lap, so maybe we'll see if he's going to be able to put together a good one here. Now remember, the target here is that 219.261. And I think a lot of these drivers here are considering that if they cannot get the first sector done well here, perhaps much better for them to teleport into the pits and start off with a fresh set. Although Sidawire, things went a little bit too wide there, my friend. Sliding his way through that first turn, and loads of understeer coming through the second. You can see the standing water providing a bit of a hazard right now for those just coming out of turn 2, as Sidawire finds out the hard way, fighting his car control right now on turn 3. Doesn't seem to be letting off the gas anytime soon. Well, nice save there, Sidawire. Let's see if you're going to be able to put together a proper lap out of that as it comes around through turns 4 now. Again, the standing water, I think, is providing a lot of difficulties here for these drivers. certainly not going to be the best for these rear-engine cars to be running over water that's going to be that deep there. But nevertheless, the Porsche Cup car does have a lot of grip in the dry. Let's hope these weather tires do help it out somewhat. Now, see the wire coming around these next few turns. He's not decided to scratch his lap yet. Is he going to be able to gift this a sector 1 time? He does. It's at 35.273. Not exactly the fastest and not exactly the best coming out from him either. So this is looking like a long haul here. 4 minutes and 30 seconds still left. I think we see though, having been out for 4 laps now, might be starting to think whether or not he wants to teleport back in and start another flying lap here, or just commit to this one, see what's the best he could do. So far, he's already in 2nd place. The risk right now is that with Luca Martino out on track as well, getting through Sector 2 with a time of 49.164, not exactly an improvement on his part either. The risk is that if you don't challenge for the times right now, perhaps as the conditions get a lot wetter, then it's going to pretty much erase anyone's chances of making any improvements in this qualifying session. 3 minutes and 50 seconds still left, so this is going to be make it or break it here for Cedar Wire. If he comes across the line doesn't like the time, he's probably going to have to teleport into the pits and then start all over again. But fighting for control, the lack of traction on the track is really apparent here when you see these guys on board. So Cedar Wire comes across the line, does not quite improve his time at those. He does get a better Sector 3 this time around, but I suppose the mistakes that he made in Sectors 1 and 2 are certainly going to be causing him quite some suffering. But Cedar Wire now is going to be stopping his car. I expect to teleport back in the pits. Who else is also on the track and getting some good improvements here? Imran Zuhaili joining us on this round here. He is currently having an improvement in his Sector 2 time, although his overall pace of 225.297 is only good enough for 7th so far, putting him behind Sharizuka 9 and Jan Lei, as well as Ayman Haziq. Currently has just finished a Sector 1, still not too impressive on his part. Yellow all across the board right now, so his last hope here is to try to make up that time in Sector 3, but I doubt he's going to be able to make that much an improvement. It seems like the worsening conditions right now is surely affecting everyone's pace here, so I think Luca Martino and Cedar Wire probably came out just about the right moment here in order to capitalize on the track that's still relatively dry and was able to set a time under 220. Them, along with Nurshali Zan as well, I should add, are the only drivers right now that are currently under that 220 barrier. Ayman Haziq now coming through to the back straight and into the final quarter. Needs to be very gingered through this part here. Very easy for you to lose control here on this off-camber kind of corner, but Ayman Haziq makes it through. Is he going to get a significant improvement or not in his Sector 3 time as it comes across the line right now? Currently he sits in 4th place. I think he stays in 4th place right now. Did improve his Sector 3 in the end, but I think the conditions in Sector 1 and 2 are kind of throwing everyone off right now. So that's making this a bit of a tough one to call, I think, for anyone else coming out after the 8-minute mark. But for those that came out before that, I think it's pretty clear who's going to be on that front row here. Luca Martino looking like he's very likely to make it another pole position here in round number 5. And that's certainly going to be like a grand sweep of all the pole positions in this Hot Rocket Porsche series. Not bad at all. Let's have a look at that little bit of a slide here. I think this was this? Yeah, this was when he finished his lap there. So I think not much to kind of see from his point of view here. 50 seconds still left. I don't see anyone else having an outlap right now as outside of Uzair Al-Qadri. Oh wait, Sharik Zakanai is also out of track right now, and he's just gone past Sector 1. So he's looking to at least try in these last dying minutes of the qualifying session to hopefully pull himself a little bit higher up. Currently he's sitting in 6th place, but it's 3.3 seconds away from the leader right now. So certainly not looking too hot in terms of pace, at least in these very, very extreme wet conditions here. But being 2 seconds behind Jan Lei, who has set a 220.9, think that's putting Shavik under a lot of pressure right now, worrying about how he's going to be able to place himself for the race later on. Remember, it's going to be 20 minutes until the end of the first race itself, and if it's going to be these conditions here, I think Shavik will have certainly some reasons to be worried here if it's not going to be able to improve his pace too much. Seems like with the checker flag having coming out and Shavik having gained the necessary improvements he was looking for in the first two sectors, he's going to scratch off his lap itself. See, the wire is still on the outside though, and he's just coming around turn 3, so I think he might just... let's see what he's going to be able to do in that first sector here, because I think if he does not improve that first sector by too much, I don't think it'll be very likely for him to challenge Luca that hard. Although, as I say that, he did set a sector 1 under 35 seconds, although only just, so there might still be a chance, but that still leaves him at least about 4/10s behind Luca Martino here, and he's going to have to make up all the deficit through the sector 2, which is very, very tricky, especially in these conditions right now. Little while, hope he knows what he's doing right now. Is coming around to his turns 7 and 8, two back-to-back right-handers, and he takes it nice and clean, riding over the curbs as well for good measure. So the wire now coming around to the Bajaya Thioma corner, slows down to a crawl right now. Should be coming. Oh, it just comes out a little bit too early on the gas, and unfortunately, that's going to be end of his lap right there and then. Anyone else still out on track? I do not see anyone on an out lap right now, so that pretty much puts an end to a qualifying session here. It seems like Sida Wire was trying to give us a little bit of excitement towards the end there, but fell a little bit short, just coming into the marker towards Sector 3. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Luca Martino and Sida Wire both sitting on the front row. Nur Shalizan only able to do a best of third right now. And Ayman Azik will be joining alongside him for that. And these are the guys who came out quite early, if I recall. So I think they certainly made the most of a track that was still quite wet, but was dry enough at that point that they were still able to set times into 2:20. But anyone else who came out afterwards, Imran Zuhaili, Sharik Zulkarnain, and even see the wire as well, and Ayman Azik, they were not able to improve on the times at all, which tells me that the rain condition for this qualifying must have been extremely heavy to create such a deficit in the end of the session compared to the start. So a challenging one there, and certainly a really good qualifying session for those who started off quite early on. Luca Martino has pretty much just confirmed 100% pole position sweep in this Hot Rocket Porsche series. This is fantastic from him here. I mean, all competition long, he's been showing himself to have the highest pace, no matter the track. I think the supreme understanding of like the way this 993 GT3 Cup car handles that knowledge has really served him well here, and with no one else being able to contest him on pole positions alone, these makes all these kind of starts, especially for race 1, so easy to him. Although, to say, he doesn't always win here in this first race. In particular, in Road America, he only managed to muster a third place finish in race 1 of Watkins Glen. He didn't even finish on the podium, only being able to claw it back on the second race there, getting himself up to second in race 2. But if you look just head to head between the two of them, the clear distinction is just the pole positions that Luca Martino has been able to take. This guy, he is fast, and he takes no prisoner, especially during the qualifying sessions. And Nurshad Izan, he had a good run as well. He's been so consistent at podiums, but he's never been able to convert that into many wins for himself. Only Watkins Glen race 1 was the only victory that he himself has been able to experience here, but everything else has pretty much been taken by Luca Martino himself off of the amazing pole positions he's been able to capture and the consistency and pace he's able to show during the race. But with Sepang now having the wettest possible conditions, this is surely going to be a true test right now for both Luca and Nurshalizan. They're still the driver's champion to be determined right here and now, and 33 points separate these two. So still very much on the line. Luca Martino just has to make sure he finishes high enough to stay up in terms of points. With no Shalizani, he will be able to confirm the driver's champion for himself. If not, it's going to be up to Nur Shalizan to capitalize where he can and start to eat away at that deficit starting from this first race itself. So, this is going to be 20 minutes long. It is going to be a sprint from start to finish. We're seeing typically that these drivers don't take pit stops unless they absolutely have to, and with the conditions being wet, I don't expect tire degradation to be that big of an issue coming into this race here. And what's really going to be interesting to see as well is the latecomers into this championship here. Duncan Jan had been able to take part in some of these races here, but had to miss out some as well, and that unfortunately meant that he wasn't able to collect points in the last round in Bahrain, and that pretty much left him out of contention. Although, in spite of that, his couple of podiums, especially Zandvoort, has already allowed him to stay in the top 6 right now in the standings here. So whoever else is going to be starting alongside him here is going to be certain to have a challenge to that first turn. Nevertheless, because John, he will still race you to the very end, even if the situation does not exactly favor him that much. That much I could say. But Ayman Azik as well, he missed out the first round of this championship here, so didn't get any points from there, but nevertheless have been able to pick up 2 podiums since joining us from round 2 all the way to round 4. So he's going to be another one to watch out for, and certainly going to be one to bring a challenge coming to the first turn there, given how crowded it will be in those 2 switchbacks. Sharik Zulkan 9 as well has also 1 win to his name. Same as No Shalizan, same as the Wire. Difference is that he wasn't able to capitalize too much on the other races that he has been on, where No Shalizan has been able to pick up 6 podiums. Sharik Zulkan 9 only has 2, and the Wire with 3 naturally takes up that 3rd spot right now. So if anything, Sharik wants or needs to be able to get a podium here if he wants to be able to challenge Acedo for a possible 3rd place in this standings here. Although that 3rd place is not going to come with a prize, though, it is worth noting that Sharik and Acedo Wire are less than 20 points behind each other. So that will certainly. Oh, sorry, I think it's slightly more than 20 points, but nevertheless, I think the point still stands that if Acedo Wire misses out on podiums on both of these races here, Sharik Zulkan 9 will certainly be able to capitalize on that fully. Now, the warm-up lap should be ending real soon, and that will start off our first race on the final round of this Hot Pockets Porsche series. Let's see how this is all going to end in just a few moments. So I think most of the other drivers are most likely making sure they're getting their setups done right. John is taking this opportunity right now to get some last-minute practice in before getting into the race itself, and this could be absolutely important, actually, especially given the conditions that we will be racing in later on are quite wet. So being able to get out on track there and find out where the traction is prior to the race itself, it's going to be very important, especially during the start, during that first lap of racing itself. So, now that the warm-up lap has been completed, drivers will be getting themselves back into their box positions, and then we'll be off into formation here to start off this final round. So, we're going to be having a short intermission right now where we get all the drivers lined up on the grid here. Just want to remind you guys to go ahead and give a follow right now to Hot Rockets. They are a racing club based in West Malaysia, And not only did they host sim racing events like these, but they also do have track days at various go-kart locations all around. Their stated purpose is really to provide a safe environment, or rather a good environment for other racers or track day enthusiasts all over Malaysia to connect with each other. And by holding regular competitions like this, always ensures that there's something to strive for when you're a member of the club. So, the guys like what you're seeing, go ahead and give a support to these folks here by going ahead and follow their Facebook pages, giving a follow to their Twitch channel as well, where we will be streaming all of the such competitions like the Porsche series here. And also to join in on their Discord, where all the announcements about club activities as well as where you can also connect directly with other members of the Hot Rockets community. And personally, I would also like to thank them for inviting me to commentate for this race itself. Been doing it for quite a few rounds right now, and gotta say, I still enjoy the racing here, whether it be in real life or in the sim as well. And shout out as well to the guys who have been hard at work behind the scenes, making sure this race is organized as smoothly as you can, and also getting these live streams up so all of us all at home can enjoy it too.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Alright, I think I see the timing screen has refreshed here, so we should be impending into the race in just about a minute's time. Yep. As soon as the drivers get on the grid there, gotta have to finalize their setups, make sure that they've put in enough fuel, or rather just about enough fuel for this first race. It's gonna be only 20 minutes long. And then I also got to remember, once I get to race 2, to add the extra 5 minutes of fuel to make sure they don't run out, like how a few unfortunate souls found out on the second round of this championship itself. So you can see everyone else getting out of the pits here. I think there's still a little bit of time for everyone else to teleport in. And there you see Luca Martino, as well as Cito Wire, taking that front row, Nurshalizan and Ayman Azik. We made 3rd and 4th respectively. Then behind them, we got John, so Sherry to 9, Iman Zohaili and Zanle round up the rest of the grid, so that should be... Oh, that should actually be a couple more drivers, but I think they're stuck in the pits right now. As the formation lap has already gone off, I fear that if these guys would come up now, they're going to have to start from the pit lane itself. Not exactly ideal, but given they were starting in 8th and 9th place anyway, I doubt it's going to make much of a difference there. Perhaps they might even take the opportunity to switch up the strategy if they feel they want to try to get into a much better position for the start. In this final recce lap as well, I'm telling all these drivers right now what they need to know about the conditions out on track. So, got the standing orders out here. Luca Martino, 100% pole position record in the Hot Rocket Porsche Series 2023. An amazing run for him, and already has earned himself that pole position watch. But still, driver's champion, not yet determined here. So he's going to have to defend it, whether it be versus Nurshalizan, his closest rival right now in terms of points, or is it going to be Cito Wire, who spoiled the party from the first row, as he will be starting alongside Luca Martino? Or does he have to watch his back? On the dark horses on this race here, Ayman Azik and John Lay certainly have a lot of experience and talent between them to also challenge for the lead. It's just that they're starting a little bit behind, but nevertheless still in this race. Sharik Zulkarnain, the worst qualifier out of the top 6 right now, may even find himself in a position for redemption if situations become a little bit too chaotic for the guys in front. And John, somehow in the chaos, has actually lost his rear wing during the formation lap. Oh, well, that's a little awkward. Yep, let's have a look at how exactly that happened here. It's a little bit. Oh, went with a tank slapper. Did not collect the guy directly behind him, but the next person to come through was the one who knocked off his rear wing. Oh lord, is that going to force him to come into the pits? I think surely it's going to be a pit lane start here with John Lade. Not the kind of situation he would like, especially. That was, yeah. He has completely turned this race car into a very slippy and slightly drifty machine right now. So into the pits he goes right now in the background here, while everyone else lines up for the proper grid start, rear wings, and hopefully everything else intact right now. I think you see Alex Poli still out on track right now. He's still trying to come around into the pits, or is he going to be joining us on the grid for the start? Well, John Lay has already gone into the pits now. He's going to be getting a replacement front wing, but start procedure is going to start anyway once everyone is already lined up in here. So he is likely going to come out at the back of the grid no matter how this turns out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long and fruitful journey, but all things must come to an end soon. Round 5 of the Hot Rockets Porsche Series is about to start in just a few moments. 5 seconds to the start right now. The red lights are gone on. And they are off. Luca Mattino starting off really well, at least keeping Charlie Zahn behind, but has he compromised his grip level or rather his position at the start right now? To see the Wire, who does have the insight coming towards turn 1. See the Wire is going to challenge him all the way to the braking line. Does outbrake Luca Martino and snatches away the lead in turn 1, but he's still got to watch out for turn 2. The switchback coming about right now downhill through here. Luca Martino still is tucked in behind Cito Wire, so it seems like Cito has come to spoil the party after all. Bit of a traffic jam starting from behind. Noor Shalizan is the other back runners are now just facing the spray that Noor Shalizan is pushing up onto them up to turn 3, allowing the top 2 to run off. John Lay has just come out of the pits and still ends up in the wall once more. Did not have his wing put back on, it looks like. Oh boy, he's in the world of hurt right now. Not only has he damaged his suspension, but now he still needs to go back in the pits because I did not see him have the rear wing before he spun out there. Did he come out without getting the wing installed in time? Oh boy, Luca Martino and Cito Wire continue to make the chase in the front right now, and it builds up a huge comfortable lead here coming into this second sector. Now they're coming out to the slowest part here. Luca Martino looking like he's trying to eye an entry into the inside, but Cito Wire still breaks him pretty hard going into the entry here, so he still has to tuck in behind the spray right now, but that toe certainly is letting him a little bit of breathing room right now to at least keep up with Cito Wire's pace here. Now, No Shalizan only comes across 5 seconds behind the race leader right now, so he's certainly holding up everyone else behind him. Ayman Azik, Shari Zulkarnain, and Kadir Al-Qadri are all currently locked in battle with each other, a 3-way, and that, in fact, just as we cut away into the replay, yeah, it looked like John did not have his rear wing on when he came out of the pits, so it seems like he might have missed out probably the option menu or something to get his bodywork repaired. I did though see Luca Martino having a look on the inside and see the Wire just now coming on the final quarter, but out of the back straight, Luca Martino still is behind Cito Wire, so grand defense right now for Cito to make sure he takes the lead in the first lap. But he's still not quite out of the woods yet. Luca Martino, we know what the pace is like for him, especially from qualifying. So we know that he's good, definitely has the ability to keep up with Cito Wire here. So the question now between the two of them is who's going to break first? Who's going to be the first one to start to lose out in time here? And who's going to be the one making the most mistakes? And certainly Cito Wire is in the hot seat right now with Luca Martino, the whole position sweeper of the series here, just chasing him from behind. Shalizan in the moment still not able to make up any improvements here, or rather has stayed completely stagnant here. A 9-second gap now between himself and Cito Wire as well as Luca Martino. So I don't know whether this is just directly a result of like both Cito and Luca Martino pushing each other to the limit here, or is it Nurshali Zan intentionally driving a little bit slow but safer here and just using his defensive skills here in order to stay ahead of Ayman Azik to eke up that final podium? It could be just a combination of both, actually, now to think about it. But nevertheless, this chase is still very much going on here between Luca Martino and Cito Wire, neither driver giving each other much opportunities there to change the result, as it were. Ayman Azik, in the meantime, keeping a bit of distance right now from Nurshali Zan. That's giving him a little bit more visibility for sure, but does lose out a bit on the slipstream in these especially faster parts of Sepang itself. But naturally, he will be able to close it up by the time he gets through these corners here. Hopefully, to be able to stay close enough to Sharik Suka 9 in order to get the toe off of the back straight as well as the main straight itself. It runs to highly now, having a look on the inside. Alex Poli, but he has to outbreak him though in order to be able to take the position, and Alex Poli actually beats him to the punch, takes the apex away here from Imran Zuhaili, so he's gonna have to try another time. Alex Poli coming up hill. Imran Zuhaili having a look at the inside once more, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it. Not with the momentum he has right now. Or is he going to try to slingshot his way onto the inside? He does! Alex Poli unfortunately had to back out of it there, thinking about turning in, but seeing Imran coming in so hard in his rearview mirror, he decided against it and gave him the space. So, Imran Zuhaili now takes up into 7th position here. Cito Wire takes the fastest lap of the race so far, and in the cones goes Alex Poli, a little bit too eager on the throttle pedal there, I think, by the time he got to the back straight. And that's going to open up the gap now for Imran Zuhaili, and he can breathe a sigh of relief. Ayman Azik is another chaser right now, this time behind Nurshali Zan, who has more or less stabilized his lap here at 2:22, so he's already picked up the pace somewhat, with Ayman Azik keeping the pressure on behind him. Nevertheless, Luca Martino has seemed to have lost a bit of time to Cito Wire, although he may be just conserving a bit of his energies here and trying to play the long game, and there's still 14 minutes to go in this race. Luca Martino and Cito Wire now are going to be locked in a battle of strategy here, or rather, of consistency. See who's going to be wearing out the car or the tires faster than the other right now. So hopefully this will lead us to a battle towards the end of this race here, but it seems like Luca Martino is going to be letting his foot off the gas, as it were, here, while the conditions seem to be improving, actually. Lap after lap, the spray that was quite thick early on in the first laps started to dry up now, but as the dry line is now starting to appear on track. And with these transitional conditions here, drivers who did decide to start on the oil, but I think we still see 2-3 guys starting on wet tires here. That includes both Cito Wire as well as Luca Martino. Both of these guys may have to pit at some point, I think, in order to change out to the drier tires, because we have to see how the lap times start to improve for these guys. But I think with the dry line starting to appear now, could be a possibility for some of these guys to think about and perhaps to exploit, as we're seeing green across the board for everyone else who aren't on the wet tires right now. So certainly they're starting to feel that benefit, but is that going to be enough to convince Cito or Luca Martino to go for a swap, especially with 13 minutes to go here? Now John unfortunately will have to sit this race out here. His crash in the third turn there sans the rear wing means pretty much has to sit out the rest of this race here, and that's quite unfortunate there for Tunku Jan. A costly mistake there, nevertheless. But sadly, the race will still continue here. Ayman Azik still chasing hard onto Nurshali Zan, has been able to make up the difference, I think, in these main and back straights. By being able to stay within the tow range of Shali Zan, is still able to keep the pressure going onto him lap after lap, maintaining a gap of about a second or less between the two of them. Let's see how long more can this last between the two, and I think that could certainly last for a lot longer than we might think, given they did start the dry tires, and are certainly going to be feeling the benefit of the lead line, although the last laps that we've seen so far from Cito Wire and Luca Martino are very much inside the 220s, which, given how big that gap is, I wouldn't be surprised if Cito and Luca both underfueled for this very race here. No matter, we'll have to see how this turns out here, especially given that they both decided to start with the wet tires. Perhaps they might have thought of underfueling a little bit in order to gain that advantage and pull themselves away from the pack to make sure it's going to be a one-on-one duel between them into the pits. So this could make an interesting twist here coming this race. If they both are indeed underfueled, that means they're going to have to use these next few moments here to gain as much time as they can to separate themselves from the rest of the grid. In fact, they've already got themselves 21 seconds ahead of Nurshalizan here. So one would think that these guys, right around the 10-minute mark, or right around the halfway point of this race, already start thinking about where and when they want to try to start to take the pit. But with Luca Martino still being about 1 second close enough to see the wire, I think it's pretty much onus is on Cito here to decide whether or not he wants to cut into the pits immediately here to take the dry tires, or stretch out the stint as much as he can and force Luca Martino to do so. Well, let's see about that. Ayman Azik and Nurshalizan, both drivers on the dry tires here, will probably not have much of that on concern for them. It's going to be pretty much a sprint from start to finish, I think, for these two, given that they are carrying, or what appears to be carrying, a lot more weight compared to what two leaders here. Meantime, we're going to have a look at a replay here of Ayman Azik having a bit of a close call, as I heard. Let's see, he was racing against, I think, Nurshalizan early on. Oh, that was way up on the curbs there, and almost lost control coming out in the penultimate corner there. But certainly did not cost him too much time though, because he's still up behind Nurshalizan on this lap here. So whatever mistakes he's making seems to be recoverable quite well here from Ayman Azik. Until, again, with them being on the dry tire here, I think they should still be able to race quite well under these circumstances. Now, lap times are starting to drop now for See the Wire and Luca Martino, doing us to seeing a 2:17 from both these guys, where previously they've been able to consistently be in the 2:16. So they're just right about that time. They're going to be thinking about whether or not they want to take the pit stop now. We're already past the halfway point of this race here, so it's certainly prime time for them to make the decision now. But it's still, relatively speaking, still quite far ahead of Nurshalizan and Ayman Azik. But with the times now starting to suffer, I think sooner or later one is going to have to pull the trigger. So that's a 2:21 set by Nurshalizan at 2:21.7, a 2:21.4 from Ayman Azik's side, and then seem to be gaining that half a second or more every other corner here. Alex Poli coming out, Al-Qadri almost coming together there. With Alex Poli going off the grass and back on again. He's struggling for grip, it looks like, compared to Al-Qadri here, which is kind of surprising given that he is on dry tires. But then again, riding on the dry line is akin to trying to thread a needle here, and it could be kind of tricky as Alex Poli loses his front end coming in to the uphill section, and Ozair Al-Qadri was able to capitalize on that, taking 8th place for himself. Not bad a recovery at all for him. Now, there's still 7 minutes left in this race here, and Ozair, just like the two leaders here, are the ones, is one of the 3 drivers starting on the wet tire here. So let's see on this replay here. Oh, a bit of a slide there. So that was what happened with Alex Poli there. Slid a little bit coming into turn 8, and that bunched him up together with Ozair Al-Qadri, where he was eventually able to take him on the uphill later on into the entry of Sector 3. Seems to have gone a bit wide there, but perhaps taking a safer line through the final corner. Nurshalizan and Ayman Azik now continuing to chase each other. These guys have been relentless so far. Whereas if you compare them to the top two here, Cedar Wire and Luca Martinez now have a widened the gap of 3.3 seconds. So Luca is certainly trying to conserve his pace as much as he can. So it seems to be way too conservative on his part. He's set a 2:18.3 in the last lap. Cedar Wire to the set 2:17, and that's like an 8/10 difference between two of them actually. Dang. Well, let's see whether or not Luca is going to decide to pull a trigger and get himself on the dry tires. He's still 27 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack though. So either he's going to decide to try to run this in the end, which I have to say is kind of risky. I don't know how much more time could he potentially lose still running on these wet tires. Or he could decide to try to gun it into the pits, take the dry tire, and see whether they can catch up to Cedar Wire. And I'm at Zeke now having a bit of a look on the inside of Noshalizan. Taking advantage of the tow so far has helped him for the majority of this race. And Noshalizan continues to try his best here to defend that final podium position. A 2:20 almost flat was that last lap. Is he going to be breaking into the 2:19s this time around, especially with that pressure? Yes, he does. A 2:19.9. So we're seeing definitely the improvement we're expecting of a drying track here, as all the other runners here who started on a dry tires are now starting to gain, or rather to match up in terms of lap times with the top two. Is it going to be enough to cause them a bit of concern? A yellow flag in Sector 3. Not sure who exactly that was, but it seems to be cleared out quite quickly there. Alex Poli still going off track there. This time getting lapped by Luca Martino, and I expect to see the wire just a moment earlier. And Imran Zuhaili is decided to teleport in the pits. Not sure what exactly happened on his part, but looks like DNF is being called in this part. So that's 2 DNFs we had so far. First one being Tengku Jan Lei right around the start. And now Imam Zuhaili has just retired with less than 5 minutes to go in this race. That's real unfortunate, but if Alex Poli can get over Imam Zuhaili's position, that will certainly allow him to inherit 8th place. And I think right now, speaking of inheritance, Zeke would love to be able to inherit that last podium position, but Nurshali-san so far has not made any major mistakes here, despite the pressure that Ayman has been applying to him all race long. Now, I'm starting to think that both Cedar Wire and Luca Martino, if they are still able to maintain above what the other drivers are able to do time-wise, may not even have to consider coming to pits if they do have enough fuel to last them to the end. Certainly, I think Luca Martino is doing a lot more lifting and coasting compared to Cedar Wire, either to try to make up for some fuel deficit he had from trying to chase Cedar Wire during the early stages of the race, or perhaps trying to conserve whatever bit of tire he has left here on these wets, which is used since the start of this race here, mind you. But at least in terms of pace, is still able to stay ahead of most of the dry tire runners. Now, aside from Nurshalizan and Ayman Zeke, everyone else is still more or less around that 220 mark. 218.6 and 218.9 so far for Nurshalizan and Ayman Zeke. And I think I just saw Alex Poli inside the pits as well. Is he unfortunately going to retire from this race as well? He's going to be able to get another set and get back on track. We'll have to keep you guys updated on that. But as I was saying, we see the Wire and Luca Martino now lapping in the 218s and 19s. Nurshalizan and Ayman Zeke both very squarely in the 218s right now. This is where their huge lead is going to start to collapse. But with 2 minutes left in this race here, I don't think there might be enough running here for Nurshalizan or Ayman Zeke to really threaten them. So is that correct? They might not be like under-fueled. I think just the wetness of the track in the early laps was what contributed a lot to their laps. And also we know the talent of these guys to find lots of pace in this GT3 Cup car. It certainly allowed them to make a time of 2:16 very early on. But now it's going to be about trying to maintain their pace here to control the descent, as it were, of the time. So the last laps was 2:18 and 2:19, but no Shizan, I'm a Zeke now. It's already matched that level of pace here. But a 28-second gap still separates Nurshalizan from Cedar Wire. Now, if this race still had maybe, what, 20, 30 more laps, perhaps that could be something to chase for. Although, now we're running in the 20-minute race here, and we're entering into the final minute. I think Cedar Wire and Luca Martino are just going to have to gamble right now and make sure that they make it all the way to the end. So, as of right now, I think Tuko Ezanle is the only one who is actually close enough, interval-wise, to challenge someone, and it's going to be Sharik Zoka 9, who had been quite quiet in the middle of the pack right now. Fairly consistently in P5, had not faced a challenge up until now. Ezanle's last lap wasn't exactly inspiring, although he's caught up quite significantly to Sharik Zoka 9 now, that he caught through turns 1 and 2. So it's going to be imperative for Sharik right now to not be forced into an error right now that will compromise his time. See the Wire in the meantime, very comfortable here, 3.6 seconds ahead of Luca Martino, and seems like only tragedy, or like a miraculous tragedy maybe, from the perspective of Luca Martino will be the only way that Cedar will lose out in his lead. But the timer has run out, ladies and gentlemen. Cedar Wire is still in Sector 3, so this means that by the time he gets across the line, that will signal the end of the race here. What a race it's been here for Cedar Wire. Took the lead from the start of the race, away from Luca Martino, who qualified in pole position, and pretty much kept it there, even with Luca Martino breathing down his neck throughout the first part of the race. Once things seriously dried up and the wet tires start to lose their prime status, Cedar Wire was the one still in the lead. So he comes around the final corner round to take the checkered flag here for the first race of the final round in Sepang. Cedar Wire takes the win here ahead of Luca Martino. Whew, what a race here for Cedar Wire. Now let's see who else is going to be coming across the line now. I think Nurshalizan should be coming around the final corner here. He's going to be able to confirm what looks like another podium position for him, and in fact, to set purple sectors in sector 1 and 2. Is he going to be going for fastest lap here as well? A purple sector 3 to make it 2:15.6. Oh man, that track is so dry right now. If only it was this dry at least like 5 minutes ago, maybe, just maybe, Shalizan would be able to chase Sido and Luca Martino with the decaying tires. Now, Ayman Zeke will take 4th place just behind Nurshalizan, but he could take comfort in the fact that he finished ahead of both Sharik Zoka 9 as well as Tunko Ezanle, who, despite the late charge there by Tunko Ezan, was not able to get close enough to challenge Sharik Zoka 9 for his position at all. So, fantastic racing for them. And honorable mentions for our final 2 finishers here. Ozair Al-Qadri also starting the wet tires, actually managed to get himself up to a 2:19 by the end of this race here. So he did get some good improvements, although not enough to make up several places. He was, however, able to get past Alex Poli as well as Imran Huzu Haili, as well as the good and John Lay, the latter 2 who had to DNF from this race here. So Ozair Al-Qadri comes across the line to take the checkered flag and to confirm his 7th place. Now, with all these places now settled, we'll be waiting for the reverse grid later on for race 2. Now, the top half of this grid will be flipped around, so I expect that will be from 1st place all the way to 5th. So that should put Sharik Zoka 9 in first the first grid slot for race 2. Next, Ayman Hazik for the front row here. Louis Chalizan and Luca Martino will share the second row in third and fourth respectively, and Sida Wire will be starting in fifth. And that's if Imran Zohaili and John Lee are able to rejoin us for race 2. Haha. Luca Martino having a little bit of celebrations out in the grass there. He's taken the pole position. He's taken the win here, and I think mathematically that is enough for him to take the Drivers' Champion. So, Luca Martino, what a stellar record he's had so far in this Porsche series. 100% pole positions and been able to consistently convert those into wins. Missed out on a couple of trophies, but doesn't matter. In the end, it is how you finish. Luca Martino is your champion right now for the Hot Rockets racing the Porsche series. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes time. This will be for race number 2, so this will be a good time to take a little bit of a break. So make sure you stay hydrated, and we'll see you guys in just a little while.
attention grid. Will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now?
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hot Rocket Porsche Series. GT Cup 992 has been a weapon of choice for 5 rounds now. And having gone through all those 5 rounds, we come to the final race. However, if Luca Martino's first race win is enough, we may already have our driver champion. So this second race here effectively will be just for bragging rights, because I don't think anyone else mathematically will be having any chance right now challenging Luca Martino for the driver's champion. Once that result becomes official at the end of today, that will pretty much be it. So it's going to be a reverse grid for the first half of the drivers that finished race number 1. So that puts Shari Zuka 9, who finished 5th, in first place. Amanda Zeke will be starting alongside him, and Luca Martino will be joining with Noah Shalizad in the second row, and Cedar Wire will be starting all the way in 5th. Now, we still are experiencing 50% rain settings here in round number 2, and given that the track did dry out quite only significantly towards the end of the race itself, it seems like starting on the wet tires is still very much possible under these settings here. Although the extra running 5 minutes at the end could prove to be deadly for those who still stay on the wet tires anyway, because we saw the amount of the lap times improve very significantly for everyone else who was on the dries. So could this turn out to be a pit stop battle race? We'll have to see. Nevertheless, all the drivers right now are out there on track here to get the taste of the conditions right now. And John Lay finally comes back with a proper rear wing this time around. Hopefully he will be able to keep that rear wing through the rest of this race here this time. Isaiah Alcantara starts somewhere behind. Ahead of John Lay in 7th place. Alex Poli will be starting 8th place owing to a DNF that he suffered towards the end. Oh boy. And has gone off the track once more, getting a bit of dirt on his tires there. Hopefully he'll be able to get it cleaned up by the time to get to the grid. John Lay starts in last overall, as he was the first to DNF from race number 1. And quite an unfortunate sequence of events there. And a tank slapper during the formation lap and got collected by another car. Went into the pits, seemed to have forgot to set his body to repair, which resulted in him coming out, speeding out of the pits on dry tires and no rear wing. So unsurprisingly, he spun out on turn 3, the very fast right hand sweeper. That pretty much ended his first race. Can he make some redemption here in the second race? So all the drivers line up on the grid here. Front row, Sharik Zuka 9, Amanda Zeke. Second row, No Shalizan and Luca Martino. Third row, Cedar Wire and Tunku Ezan Lay, all vying for bragging rights this time around, as the driver's champion more than likely has already been selected. Red lights go on one more time. And we are off. Noah Shalizan actually having a much better start compared to Sharik Zuka 9. Had to dodge out of the way a little bit as Sharik loses quite a lot of grip on the start. Charging towards the first turn right now. He's going to be 3 wide as Ayman Zeke takes him on the inside here to challenge Sharik Zuka 9 for the lead. He does take the lead away from Sharik Zuka 9 come the first turn, but come the second one, Sharik Zuka 9 fights back, still has the inside, but it's still not quite the end of this drag race here, as they will have to race their way up the hill. Ayman Zeke still has a little bit of aggression here to play for coming up to his turn 3. But Sharingan 9 still maintains the lead by the time to get into braking for turn 4, opening up a significant enough gap here to stay in position. Has to defend his line quite well. See the wire having a look on the inside. Luca Martino now forcing him to take onto the curbs in order to avoid collisions. Sharingan 9 continues to lead the pack of cars through the mists now going into turns 5 and 6. Norishali-san seeing a little bit of a battle form up between Cito Wire and Luca Martino behind him. This is going to be a challenge right now for P4, but it looks like Luca Martino still reigns supreme right now and stays ahead of Cito Wire. Sharingan 9 still holding a little bit ahead. Norishali-san lost a little bit of position there. That will bring Luca Martino and Cito Wire up 3rd and 4th respectively. Now he has to defend his position against the Kujan Lei. It's now to break extremely hard for the Bajaya Tioman corner. Iman Zeke looking a little bit loose on the exit right now. This is giving an opportunity for Luca Martino to pounce on him now, coming up to the highest point of Sector 3. Now it's going to be all downhill from here on out. Iman Zeke now struggling a little bit to catch up to Sharingan 9, allowing him to open up a 1-second gap. Luca Martino and Cito Wire are backed up behind him and are looking for opportunities to try to pass him, and one might just be presenting itself right now. On the final turn, Luca Martino peeked on the inside, went around the outside. That actually gives an opportunity for Cito Wire to challenge him on the exit, and it will both have to drag race their way to the final corner. Iman Zeke is going to be lending a bit of toe there, but that's not going to help Luca Martino too much, nor Cito Wire. Both of them practically side by side to get through the first turn. Sorry, the last turn onto the end. Luca Martino, a bit of a touch there with him and Cito Wire, but he's still able to stay on the track, but unfortunately has to tuck in behind Cito now, who inherits that 3rd place. So across the line now, Sharingan 9 is still in the lead. Iman Zeke in 2nd. Cito Wire now in 3rd. With Luca Martino now having to defend against Sharingan, who is getting a run up on the inside here in Italian. And Luca Martino, he's completely helpless to defend there. Has to take the wide line and hopes to be able to keep enough momentum. And he does keep enough momentum to stay ahead through turn 2. Cito Wire a little bit held up now, but Iman Zeke is going to have a look around the outside. He wants to be able to catch up to Sharingan 9 and hopefully take a win here to at least save his pride. But Iman Zeke says, no, you're going to have to stay behind me through turn 4. Well, breaking a little bit too wide. Oh, and Cito Wire comes up alongside Iman Zeke. Iman looks like he's misjudged that braking point just now. Almost gave the slip there to Cito Wire. But now Cito is all over him through turns 5 and 6. Immense amount of pressure right now on Iman Zeke to try to stay on the podium here, because he knows that behind Cito Wire there's going to be Luca Martino looking and licking his chops right now at a possible podium position. Cito Wire here still keeping the pressure intensely onto Iman Zeke as he get through turns 7 and 8. Cito Wire now having a look on the outside. Iman Zeke having to take a defensive line on the inside. Line astern right now, braking hard to the apex and still stays in P2, only just. Cito Wire tries to have a run out of him on the outside. Seems to have a little bit more grip there, but still Iman Zeke persists in staying on the inside, stays on the apex. Cito Wire still has to take the long run on the outside, but by the time they do get out the exit, Cito Wire is already ahead in P2. Amazing stuff here between these two drivers, and not easy at all given both these conditions and the kind of cars they're driving. No traction control ABS here in this GT3 Cup cars, even though they have the same amount of power as their GT3 counterparts. Now Cito Wire, he's going to have to play defense this time around as Iman Zeke now latches very securely on his bumper now, forces him to try to take the wide line. Iman Zeke takes the top of the inside. Oh, barely misses Cito Wire as he understeers into the entry. Now Luca Martino is all over Iman Zeke, forces him onto the outside now. He elbows his way through to take P3, or will he be able to hold it though? They are line astern now, coming towards the main straight and the first corner. Sharizan now Iman Zeke now fighting back against Luca Martino, but again, Luca taking the outside. He knows exactly how to battle through these first 2 turns. It's not about the entry, it's about the exit, as Luca Martino snatches away that opportunity that Iman Zeke thought he had going through those 2 turns. Crazy stuff here as Iman Zeke at risk of losing yet another position. Norris Salizan is now up against him here forcing him to brake really late coming turn 4. This is where his understeer gave the position to see the wire, and flashbacks of that are almost must be playing. It is his hit there as Nurshalizan gives him this challenge. And yet, in spite of all the commotion here, Luca Martino still is on the fastest lap here of a 222.445. Seems to be best of what everyone can do, although Sharik Zucandine does have a better Sector 1 in this current lap right now. So let's see whether that will still hold. So yeah, this was where I think lost his front tire grip coming into the final corner there, and that allowed him to basically get up all the behind on the number 4. See the wire there. So this is Luca Martino, or rather, I think this was I'm on the Zeke there, trying to prevent Cedar Wire from taking him on the inside. Unfortunately, allowed him to run him around the outside, and tried to break his hard into the final corner, but the grip level of the track did not permit his front to rotate at all, resulting in a massive understeer that almost took Cedar Wire out. But fortunately, no other major incidences there. I'm on a Zeke now. Seems like he has dropped down to 5th as No Shalizan has already overtaken him now on this lap. And what's going on behind Imran Zuhaili, able to keep Teko Janleh behind so far, but John has already made quick work of both Uzair Al-Qadri as well as Alex Poli. Seems like Imran is just going to be the next on the menu item here, as Teko Jan is going to try to make his way up to 5th place. So that understeer going into the entry of the final corner may not be helping him too much here. And Luca Martino, even though he had been setting a faster lap early on, it seems like Cedar Wire has beaten him to the punch this time around at 222.3, so they're certainly managing their pace right now. Or rather, Cedar was enjoying the tow coming off of Sharik Zucandine here in order to stay ahead of Luca Martino in this battle for P2. In fact, I think if Cedar Wire can keep this up, perhaps he might be able to challenge for P1 instead, as Sharik Zucandine not exactly even looking that fast actually, even though he's been in the lead so far. Granted, it's still a 222.7 for Zucandine, whereas Cedar Wire's last lap was a 0.3. Seems to be a big enough differential here that perhaps Cedar could imagine himself overtaking Sharik Zucandine in some of these laps here. We're coming up to the 15-minute mark soon though. And the big question on my mind is whether or not the track condition would dry up enough to make the dry tires a factor, but given the level of standing water that I'm seeing right now, I highly doubt that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be a wetter sprint, as it were, right now. As Sharik Zucandine has to defend very hard against Cedar Wire here, who seemed to have almost caught him on the breaking point. And the standing water and the exit there may not be too easy for Sharik Zucandine to stay ahead of Cedar Wire as he's gaining on him. Takes him on the inside, takes it before the apex. But Sharik Zucandine still fights back. Coming out of that corner, downhill from here on out, Cedar Wire does have the inside, so he will take that place for now. But Sharik Zucandine, he knows he's still not quite done yet. He's going to have a look on the inside in the final corner, almost touching their way into that turn. Sharik's now trying to keep himself on a straighter exit compared to Cedo, but the miss is not making it easy at all for him to get a good line. Cedo's going to try to break the toe there by drinking to the left there. Sharik Zucandine follows him all the way through. He wants to maintain these toe through these two corners here so we can challenge him in turn 1. Coming to the final corner here, Cedar Wire a little bit wide. And Sharik Zucandine having to fight with that car to keep it in line right now, to stay behind Cedar Wire's car. He's done the work so far. Now it's going to be the real challenge. Can he challenge Cedar Wire through these first two corners now with the pace he's been given? From taking that toe? It's going to be hoping that Cedo goes a little bit wide. And Cedo does go wide. He goes extremely wide, in fact, forcing Sharik to slow down because of that drift. But doesn't seem to be allowing Sharik to actually get the pass here. Luca Martino, in the meantime, getting challenged now, but Schnur Shadi's on the inside of turn 2, but he still comes back on turn 3. A little bit squirrely on the exits, but still ahead of Nur Shalizan nevertheless. John Lay has already gotten past Imran Zuhaili, so now he takes up onto P7. The next in line there is going to be his brother, Ezan Lay, but he's still 3 seconds off. Luca Martino still facing a lot of challenge here from Nurshalizan. A lot of pressure being offered here onto the last podium position. But he still has held strong so far. Can he still hold strong for another lap here? That's right, coming around to the midway point of this race. Another replay will be coming through here. I think it's going to be a look on Shalizan's challenge on Luca Martino. Went in so deep in that first turn. It looked like he almost had it, but Luca got him back on the switchback. Tries to take the inside, but that puts you on a slight disadvantage on the outside, especially if you don't get a good exit. But at least like Luca Martino himself struggled to actually get the grip he needed to accelerate out of the corner. Not that it mattered anyway, because for No Shalizan, he still was not able to get past Luca Martino at that time. It was only later on, and now he actually makes his way through. Just while we were on the replay just now, I think he just overtaken Luca Martino for third place. So there goes that podium position now. Although Luca Martino is in a position to fight back here, definitely through turn one. If he can just stay in the toe of Nurshalizan, might just be able to make it so. Just coming in this corner here. Luca Martino having a peek on the inside, decides against the dive here as Nurshalizan is able to take the regular racing line through there. Still a lot of standing water on the inside close to the curbs though, so that can't be too good if you're going to be braking or pushing your tires through there. Braking very hard for that first turn. We're on board Luca Martino right now. Shalizan still just ahead of him. Sharizuka 9. It's a little bit slow right now and might become a bit of an obstacle here for Nurshalizan. So he's got to watch out for the car in front of him as well as Luca Martino just behind. But he's done well so far to defend through these first two corners. Now coming up to 3, the standing water making it quite hard for them, and this miss as well, making visibility an all-time low coming to this uphill section here. Now Luca Martino has to keep a bit of gap here, but Nurshalizan still seems to be able to keep good pace ahead of the Italian to possibly deny him a podium on race 2. But 12 minutes still remain, and with Sharizuka 9 starting to slow down a little bit in front, could be high time right now for them to play the tire management game. I suppose the big question though is like, is there going to be potential for them to take a pit stop? My intuition says that taking a pit stop is akin to taking a penalty right now, because you're not going to be able to have enough time to make up the gains that you need, even on the fresh tires. Oh, a little bit of a lockup there for Luca Martino coming into the Bajaya Kyoman corner. I think a bit of concertina starting to affect him here as he was following quite close to Nurshalizan up until that point. And Sharizuka 9, oh, he's just been passed by Nurshalizan right now, so Shalizan is out himself in second place. Sharizuka 9 still trying to fight back on the downhill section here, but the penultimate corner is coming up and he doesn't get the exit. He might lose out of the toe. Shalizan, he's probably wishing his car is twice as wide right now so he can keep Zuka 9 behind. Although he doesn't seem to have that much trouble, he is still going to be donating that toe to Sharizuka 9, which perhaps could keep be a distance between himself and Luca Martino. But it's second place now that Nurshalizan is on the verge of grasping here. Braking very gingerly through here, going a little bit wide. Sharizuka 9 is going to be able to get alongside him on the main straight, and now it's a drag race to the first turn. Shalizan still that little bit ahead. He's going to try tucking in front of Sharik in order to try to defend this P2 position. Luca Martino, all he could do is just sit back and wait and just let these two fight it out right now. Shalizan still able to defend nicely into the inside. Not too much grip loss through there. Trying to keep his options open. Luca Martino having a little bit of a peek as well, but not going to be able to get through these two cars quite yet until they're done with their battle. Shalizan right now still stays in front of Sharik through those two corners. So I think P2 is pretty much in his palm of his hands now. So it's a 4.5 second gap to see the wire. But I think for the most part, Shalizan will be plenty pleased already with the progress he's made so far. And he's already leaving Sharizuka 9 in the dust right now after turn 4. This is impressive. So let's go ahead and have a look at that replay here to see how exactly he made that pass. So this was the lockup I saw just now from Luca Martino, as Charlie Zahn was able to get a good run up onto him, and that pretty much was what allowed Charlie Zahn to get into P3, I think. And I think later on we saw Luca Martino make another lockup there as Charlie Zahn was chasing onto Zuka 9. And Charlie Zahn now, that has already taken second place, is flying way ahead of Sharik or Luca. 1.5 seconds now is the gap between second place and third. Still a long ways to go before we'll be able to challenge Cedar Wire for the lead for sure. But, well, we'll have to see. Definitely not going to be a chance for them to use a pit stop in order to try to gain some time here. There's only 8 minutes left in this race, so taking a pit stop right now pretty much guarantees you're going to be somewhere in the back of the grid. But Sharik Zukanai is also another that's under threat right now. This time Luca Martino sensing an opportunity to get himself onto the podium here. Replay here to just kind of see what exactly happened here between Noah Charlie Zahn as well as Luca Martino. Another perspective, this time on board with him. So that was a concertina there. I think, oh sorry, that's not Luca Martino in front. That was, I think, Sharik Zuka 9 who was in front there. Nevertheless, let's see on this battle right now between Luca Martino and Sharik Zuka 9. Luca Martino, I think, has already overtaken Sharik Zuka 9 to take P3 now. And Sharik Zuka 9, all he can do is just tuck in behind. Is he going to go for a little bit of a dive now? Yes, he does. He takes a dive on the inside. Oh, but Luca Martino puts his elbows out and says, no, Sharik, you're not going to be able to take this podium position away from me now. This is mine. P3 is mine now. Oh, lordy. Great racing we're seeing here in this Porsche series. Luca Martino still cutting it. Oh, but Sharik brakes him really hard, takes the apex onto turn 4, now forces Luca Martino to try to get some grip on the outside, but I think the grip on the outside is a little bit better compared to the inside because Sharik Zuka 9 lost all of that advantage on the exit of that corner. So still tucks in behind Luca Martino. He's still fast enough to be a threat right now, but Luca Martino still is able to dispatch him over and over again. Still, I don't think he's quite safe yet. Sharik Zuka 9 still doing his absolute best now to stay on the rear of Luca Martino. And coming out of Bajatioma corner, this is where Luca Martino had locked up his front right. Last time, Sharik going to try to run him around the outside. And a lockup yet again here for Luca Martino. Middle wide on the outside. Sharik Zuka 9 is going to try to run him uphill now. Putting absolute pedal to the metal here, but Luca Martino refuses to let go of this final podium position. Stays ahead through the apex, but Sharik fights back on the exit. This is still not quite done. Downhill from here, Sharik Zuka 9 having to keep in just enough space, but Luca Martino spins out and is off of the podium. Dropping 2 places, 3 places, now 7th place here for Luca Martino by the time he recovers. Oh, what could have been here? What a battle it has been between himself and Sharik Zuka 9. But a final touch in the penultimate corner has just costed him a chance at the podium. Taku Izan, Lei, and John continue on ahead of Luca Martino. Just in front of them, Ayman Zeke crosses the line, still trying to chase down Sharik Zuka 9, who was looking about to lap Alex Poli right now, who's currently in 10th place. But Ayman Zeke, does he have enough left here in order to try to challenge for the end of the race? We're seeing a lot of greens going on here in Sector 3. So perhaps the rain, the wetness of the track, the track, I think, maybe starting to dry a little bit, at least in that one sector of the track. Oh, who's that gone off? Was that Alex Poli? Was early on, I think, was about to be lapped. Yes, it is. Oh, almost bumps into Ezan Lei as he rejoins the track, though Ezan was able to react just in time, and Alex Poli has to stay out of the way of John Lei, and I think he doesn't quite have the grip back on his car yet. So he goes wide through turn 6. Bit of touch and go there, but thankfully no one got collected. A replay right now. Let's see who it is. I think it's Luca Martino's car. Oh, that touch. Now, mind you, just like corners ago, Luca Martino did also touch Nurshalizan's car, and that time he was trying to defend his position, but flipped the table around, and the second touch this time ends up a lot worse for Luca Martino compared to Shalizan. But fair is fair. He was alongside. He did have the right of way. I would just say that, you know, I suppose that was a gamble very much on Luca's part to take on the inside like that on a very wet downhill section of Sector 3. But that little indiscretion has cost Luca Martino a chance at taking a podium in the final round, or rather the final race of the final round. And Nurshalizan is just speeding his way ahead. 4 seconds is a gap between him and Sid Wire with 3 minutes to go. Don't know whether that's going to be doable or not, but one thing's for sure, Shalizan will be equaling the amount of second place finishes he's taken in this series. No way, I think he missed out on one second place finish, so technically not 100% podiums, but he will nevertheless be very happy with his P2 should this end up in the end. But John Lay now has caught up to Ezan. How are they going to be challenging now for P5? Still points up in grabs. John getting very close now to Ezan. Both brothers racing together, both on and off the track. This time on virtual here. John keeping very close. Ezan looking like he's going all over the place there in turn 5, but still managed to recover well enough. But John is just biding his time. 2 minutes still to go, so I think there might still be one more lap here as Pseudo Wires just come across the line. Or rather, just came across Sector 2, so I think there might just be one more lap to run. Or rather, I'm just trying to see whether or not he'll be able to beat the timer to the end of his lap right now. Ayman Azik pretty much in no man's land right now. 1.3 seconds behind him. That's going to be the battle between Teguh Ezan as well as Teguh Jan. And then 1.6 seconds behind Sharik Zulkarnain, so it's not going to be able to capitalize too much on a slipstream here. And it hasn't been able to make up the difference through pure talent alone, though. Shalizan in the meantime just looking forward to try to cruise his way through these next minute or so of the race. So Cedar Wire comes across here with just over a minute to go, which means that this should be the final lap. Shalizan could see Cedar Wire just on the horizon ahead as he turns into turn 1. He is within touching distance, but not enough to give him a challenge in his final lap, that's for sure. Save Cedar Wire making a mistake on his part, but so far he's been absolutely flawless. Sharik Zulkarnain came across the line too. And we're not seeing as much drying as we did in race number 1, so lap times pretty much have flattened out in this stage of the race here. 2:22 across the board for most of everyone. Though 2:25s right now for both Sharik Zulkarnain and Ayman Hazik, kind of allowing a bit more gap to widen up between second and third. But for Ayman Hazik's part, he's not going to be able to capitalize too much on it. He and Sharik Zulkarnain are running practically the same pace right now, so it looks like they're likely to retain the current paces. As a timer is run to 0. Final run to the finish line here for Cedar Wire, for Nurshalizan, for Sharik Zulkarnain. I'm a Zeke coming around. I think See the Wire has also just beaten the timer here. So I think he is still halfway through Sector 2 right now. And just about to finish this race. No, Shalizan, of course, falls very closely behind. He's actually brought that gap down to 3.7. If only there were just several more laps in his race here. Perhaps he could challenge Tito Wire here for the lead, but what's fair is fair. He started from 5th place, having taken the win in race number 1 off of an amazing start. Now he comes in to make it a hat trick here. Though he misses out on the pole position that's being held here by Luca Martino, he will at least take the honors of actually seeing the checkered flag for the first time for race number 2. Tito Wire takes the checkered flag to win back-to-back races here on Sepang. Noah Shalizan finishes in 2nd place, 3.7 seconds behind, but considering where he started, is an absolutely stellar finish. Sharitsuka 9 takes 3rd place, the last podium position. Bit of a run-up between Ezanle as well as Ayman Hazik, but Ezan was not able to get alongside, so Ayman Hazik takes 4th place. The Gujan looks like he's having a run of his own right now. Coming through the first turn, straight into the barriers there. He's already come across the line. He knows he's already taken 6th place. At least a good recovery. And Luca Martino also has just come through to take 7th place, but what could have been here? But nevertheless, the driver's champion, as well as a pole position, the petrol pole sitter, as it were, in this Porsche series. He certainly has done more than enough to prove to everyone that he's the fastest of the field. And now with Alex Poli coming across the line, that will round up our 10 drivers here for this 5th and final round. Woo. This has been quite a journey, and I'm glad to have been able to share it with all of you back home here. It is, of course, the entire end of the series now, and although I think like results typically are provisional, I think it's safe to say that Luca Martino might just be the biggest winner here today, as with the amount of pole positions he's taken, the incredible amount of pace he's shown, in spite of what type of track or what kind of weather condition it is, and his consistency in converting those into podium positions or wins. And when he did, Luca Martino looking like a champion here for the Hot Rockets Porsche series. And shout out as well to Nour Shalizan for that final race there. Amazing comeback towards the end, giving Luca Martino and Sharitsuka 9 a run for the money in this podium here, and takes the best of the rest here. And Tito Wire, even though he missed out on the pole position as well as the driver's champion, he still took both races in the end. He still took the win on both of that, and entirely on merit too. So, wow. It's been great, ladies and gentlemen. But it is time for us to bring the curtains to a close. Thank you all so much for joining us in this Hot Rocket Porsche series. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you guys another round of this again, or hopefully we'll be able to bring you guys even more tournaments here from Hot Rocket's part. But special thanks to not only Hot Rockets, but also to Mika for handling all the production behind there, allowing me to focus entirely on doing the commentary here. And shout out to everyone who joined us on this live stream here, whether it be live or later on after the race. Until then, guys, my name is Victor Cax. It's been a pleasure commenting for you all, and hopefully we'll see each other again. Goodbye for now.